This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5 times the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is the Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, bury the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, tell like country muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the vein, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got 2 words for you, suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, open up the club. Let's be busy 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
Hey guys, Tony Schiavone here, making chicken salad. That's sure gonna put some butts in seats.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit.
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling by popular demand. I am your returning host, Lachlan Albert, and I am joined by the real king of Australian wrestling, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm really well, thanks. I'm also joined by another man who doesn't know what an esche is. It's Jeff Setti. Jeff, how are you, mate?
What is?
Yeah, exactly.
What a what?
What a who? Huh? What? Since when? We are here tonight to talk about a bunch of stuff that's gone on around the world of wrestling, as usual, including the results from Backlash in Lyon, France. But first of all, I put the little stank on it.
I got it. I was digging it. Well done, brother. Lyon, France.
Lyon, France.
Because you're from Queensland, I still heard Lyon, France.
Lyon, France. But more importantly, as an Aussie wrestling podcast, we got Renegades of Wrestling Uprising to talk about that went on a few weeks ago. We've had the chance to watch it, Jeff in person, Todd and I, on the magical platform known as YouTube, which has it available for free. So if you want to watch Renegades of Wrestling Uprising, jump on over to YouTube, search Renegades of Wrestling. It's the first result. Easy peasy, bing, bang, done. Great stuff. And if you want to be part of this conversation and tell us what you thought of the show, easiest way to do that, twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. You can be part of the conversation like Tim Wilkes is. Tim in the chat saying he's ready to be called a genius again, Jeff. Thank you for joining us, Tim, as usual. Now, before we jump into Renegades of Wrestling Uprising, it was a stacked card. We talked about it a few times. There was, 7 matches on it or something, and all of them had the potential to be show stealers. There was some things on this card that didn't impress me as much as I'd hoped, but overall, it shows the amount of talent, especially in Melbourne, concentrated in that one city, that this card was so stacked with really respectable names. Do you agree, Jeff?
Yeah, I think that one or two of the matches didn't zing as much as I'd have liked, but it was still an event, and it was still a wonderful event. Being there, the Northcote Theatre is a lovely venue. There's a warmth to it, and the place was packed. It was Easter Sunday afternoon. And there was a nice turnout, and it was really, really a great event. And it seems like Renegades is finally starting to put some interesting and good stories together, because there's been some inconsistent timelines there, as we've acknowledged, and even the boys themselves have acknowledged. But I think now it's starting to put some interesting things together and some things in place for the future, which make it really, really good.
Yeah, Todd, I'm always happy when we get to watch one of these shows online and it feels like there isn't much production-wise to complain about. It feels like the like ability for anyone around the world to watch this show was really done well. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's the one thing that stood out to me, and because it's a Mikey J production, so the production is going to be smooth. It's going to be thought out well. So and the fact that in between, like a lot of the matches, there were the promos that would have went up online and stuff like that, and even promos for the next show were sort of were in that as well. So it's very much, if you're at home or if you're overseas or if anywhere else, you can follow along with what was happening going into this match. It's like, especially with the main event, there was the two different sides of the promos going into the main. That's what I liked. That part of it I liked. I thought it was really cool. It was good the way they've done it, because it's different to pretty much every other ones you watch. It's just match. Even the ones that we produce is just match. And we should maybe do stuff like put the promos in to just lead into it and stuff like that. So yeah, I really dug. The production was really good.
You know, it's worth acknowledging too, that doesn't happen by itself, right? There's a lot of work that goes into that. So credit to Renegades for doing that work. Jeff, you were saying?
I also like that, like, there was a little bit of business backstage after Tyson and Crackers, and we actually followed it and saw it, rather than having it at the next show. It kind of it gave the match a nice coda, instead of saying last time this happened immediately after the match. No. Let's see it now. It's that old media adage of show don't tell, and I really appreciated that a lot.
Exactly. So let's run through the card. This one opening with Anth Carver defeating Levi Nixon in the opening contest. That's not right. Surely that's written incorrectly. Didn't Levi Nixon win this one?
Levi Nixon won.
It is.
Yeah.
But blame cage match. Blame cage match.
Cage match. Levi Nixon coming out on top over Anth Carver. Anth Carver, a fantastic body guy. I always, you know when a guy's a good body guy, because when you look at you look at the traps and it looks like there's a much smaller man's shoulders coming out of his body, and Anth Carver's got that in a nutshell. If you notice it all the time. He looks like a little man wearing a giant flesh suit. So I love that. And Levi Nixon did a really good job of showing why, as the person who won the Renegades Rumble, even though he is not, the biggest name on this card, he is someone who genuinely in ring can be a champion level competitor. And it also shows how easy it is to just have a thing that the crowd can yell to get them all on side. Like, that's a classic, right? You can't go wrong with that.
Very, very much on side. The crowd were very, very much sort of behind Levi and invested in his story within the match, and invested in him as the winner of the Rumble, which will become relevant later. Big surprise.
It will.
and boy, that was well done. But I really like this match. I think that both Carver and Nixon play their roles very, very well.
I know his name is Carver. I've always said it Carver. Just let me do my thing. Sorry, Todd.
Listen, you're right. I'll be honest with you. This didn't quite hit for me, because like Carver looks great, and it's like his selling wasn't amazing. Like I watching Mayhem Pro, I think they did a really, really good job in presenting him in there. And I guess when I went into this match, I sort of expected the same sort of a presentation, and it was a little different. That's why it didn't hit for me. It just his selling felt a little clunky in times. That's all. Like it was a fine match. It was a good opener and it was all that, but it was just Yeah,
Yeah, Tim Wilkes says this match was a good start coming out of the last event. Jeff?
I was going to say, I can't remember who. He did have a manager for a while, and she was great.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember her name.
Dominantly MCW, and has seemed to have disappeared and not actually been in the scene of late. And I wish she'd come back. I was going to say, the only thing is I miss her. She really adds some fun and silliness to the cover presentation.
She was a wrestler too.
She is a wrestler as well.
Yeah.
It does run that risk of being of taking itself a little bit too seriously. And I like that there is an aspect of cover which is, excuse me, it's fucking silly. And it's great. The sillier it is, the easier it is to boo. I know it's one of those weird heel things.
Yeah.
I guess I want Anth to turn the character up to 11 to get that silliness to be really clear, right? Because at the moment, the silliness is there. It's just at a point where you think he might genuinely be a wanker. I need just that extra 5%, that extra 10% that makes you go, oh, okay, this guy thinks he's all that in a bag of chips. We'll talk about Fun Time Phil next, but...
That's what I liked about his presentation at Mayhem Pro. He does the Carvalok Challenge. Or the Cavalog Challenge. It's very much like more character. Yeah, I know. It sort of forces more character out of him. And whereas I didn't see that same sort of like overly cocky character at Renegades. I don't know if that's just a tweak that they do, but I'm not sure.
I think ironically, I think the girl's name was Twyla. His manager's name was Twyla. But there are two things to note in response to that, Todd. One is it was the first match in a long night of matches. Like the afternoon was quite lengthy. Secondly, it's the opener. It's really hard to overdo things with the opener because there's a lot to come and you don't want to spoil what's coming.
So you say that it was a long. You said this was a long show. It was only 2 hours. Like watching that was only a 2-hour show.
Yeah, but with an intermission, it's 2.5, and sometimes it feels long when it's not, and there are a lot of matches. What I'm saying more is there are a lot of matches to get through, so they can't spoil too much in the first match. But I would like that manager back.
And I'll also add in a lot of matches where a lot of the matches had something going on top of the match, right? Whether that's pre-match brawling or it's, after the match, something's happened, and so we're dealing with that. So, for instance, after this match, Levi Nixon got presented with the equivalent of the briefcase to cash in his match at any given time, which in Renegades is a ring. That's for winning the Rumble. I really like the ring as the gimmick object. It's not as, cumbersome as a briefcase, and you've got a couple of natural taunts with it where you get to show it off. I think the ring is a really good idea as something that can be cashed in, and it also gets to be used as a weapon. So
I was going to say it's a completely original idea. No one's ever done it. You could use it as a weapon in a match. Never been done before.
No, revolutionary
I don't know, Fresh,
idea.
if you're listening, it's a novel idea, mate.
Some would say an elite idea.
Yes, yes. All elite, actually.
Okay.
Tim Wilkes is saying Cava could benefit with a manager. I think that when it comes
do you know what
to
though?
managers,
He does a good promo. So I don't know if he so much does. Yeah.
It's just to get him that extra dimension of heat, mate. It's just so you get that little bit more heat.
I think he just needs time to do his promo. If he had time to cut something before that, then maybe it might have been different. Because I think that's what he had at, again, I keep referring back to Mayhem, but that's what he had at Mayhem, and it really helped with the presentation of the character.
It does.
So I know it's a little thing, but it's just, it's what I can't help myself with.
I also am careful when it comes to saying that people could benefit with managers, because I do feel that managers who don't contribute can take away from a match. And especially if you start then repeating what's on a show, you've already got 2 situations on this show where a manager's involvement has been the thing that turns it. 3, says Todd. I guess 3, right? So if you add a manager to, I'm going to try to say it properly, Kava, and then don't have the manager do anything in the match, the question becomes, well, why were they there? And then if they do pivot the match, it becomes, all right, well, 4 of the matches out of the 7 had a manager determine the finish. Like, what are we doing here? So there's a lot of elements that I think go into thinking about that. But yeah, it's definitely a conversation about the presentation of Kava. But again, I feel like this was a good opportunity to get Nixon out in front of people and see him as a solid contender for gold. I'll also mention on the broadcast here, after this match, we got a little promo from the Snuff King, Gore, for an open challenge at the next show for Renegades. After this was number 1 contendership match for the Renegades of Wrestling Tag Team titles. Goxie came out to do some guest ring announcing, and as he tried to, got interrupted by the Ambush, who decided that they were going to sit on commentary for this one to scope out the potential number 1 contenders to their belts in the match between Overkill and the team of Funtime Phil and JXT. And the Mayhem Boys, JXT and Funtime Phil, came out on top of this one. I love Funtime Phil. The bag of chips is such a fun gimmick. It's hard to go wrong. JXT, obviously, so capable in what he's doing. I think Overkill looked like stars here. They, I thought, had excellent presentation, and to the surprise of absolutely bloody no one in the world, Jarvis on commentary is a gift, right? He's just got the character so down. Jeff?
Look, I love this live. Tom Crow looks like he could fit into an 80s Memphis style bed. He's got the tattoos. He's got a little bit, he's got the physique of an 80s wrestler. But by geez, they work well together, Overkill. I hope they find a mechanism and a way to keep these boys together. I think they've got a great future, not just in Renegades, but in wrestling in general. And, Funtime Phil and JXT, what can we say about those boys? They're fantastic. Look, if you're looking to train, you can do a lot worse than going out to Mayhem and speaking to the boys out there. They are terrific guys, and they will train you properly. Of note, they've trained Elaine Hope, who, as you boys know, is a bit of a favourite of mine and a favourite person as well. And she's come along leaps and bounds, so they're clearly doing something right. I really like this. I love Goxie. Goxie's a personal friend of mine, but I didn't see the point. I didn't get the Goxie thing. It was the last day of the comedy festival down here, so he was there.
Was it like to match up with? Was he to match up with Funtime Phil? Because they're kind of like
the same guy in a different form.
Yeah,
kindred spirit. Maybe it's certainly not a criticism of the choice or Goxie himself, but it just felt a bit, wow, okay, there he is, and the crowd didn't react either way. They're just like, oh, okay, here's Goxie,
and you can either have Goxie do the ring announcing like a ring announcer, or you can have him do it as Goxie, and that's what he did. He was Aaron Gox, that's who he is. Gox. But I'm very picky about ring announcing because I do it, so I watch it so closely, right? So you end up with little things like the music plays to interrupt him from the ambush, and he doesn't quite know that he's being interrupted, right? Yeah. So I appreciate Gox, but I just don't know if that was the spot for him.
I don't think it was. I think they're better. They were better served doing something slightly different for him. Yeah. And by all means, as I said, he's a great act. He's really funny, lovely bloke, and very funny.
Says lucky he was awake.
Of note, Goxie was at my venue this year. He was at the Catfish. Well, not my venue, but at the venue that we have WrestleBrania. He was at the Catfish. But yeah, he was like fine. But yeah, I think a different spot would have been good for him. Even announcing, even like coming out and raising Funtime Phil and JXT's hands at the end or something, like a trainer, and then having the Overkill guys or Jarvis and Murdoch do the bullying spot from there. Would have been fine.
Well, at the end of this match, Jarvis and Murdoch came off commentary to get in the faces of Funtime Phil and JXT, but were swiftly deposited. Funtime Phil and JXT standing tall to go into that Renegades of Wrestling tag team title match. Todd, how do you think that match is going to play out? Is that kind of the matchup that you want to see for the Renegades tag titles?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll just go back to the match. You liked, I can't remember, Tom Crow. I like Hector. I think Hector's got a massive upside to him. Such a good look, such a good heel. I think that their tag heel work was really good. Although, was Rochelle Rogue the manager?
No, Rochelle was...
Who was the manager? Who's the manager?
Chanel Phoenix.
Sorry about that. She missed a spot.
She did.
There was a spot there where he put the guy on the ropes, took the referee away. If you're a manager, that's kind of your bread and butter. You need to take those when you can get them, because you don't get them very often. And again, like Lachlan, that's what I do, so it's the stuff I notice.
Exactly.
It was a good match, but it felt like the end felt like it was in two parts. When like normally you have the hot tag, the comeback, bang, 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 bang. There was like a comeback, bang, 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 cut off, comeback, bang, 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 finish. I think it suffered from not having a lot of time, so they sort of had to motor through a lot of stuff, and then sort of made the match feel very one gear. There was no real change and thing of like. And if there was, it was a real quick change and then back down because they just didn't have the time to get through it. It was a good match, and like you said, it really did cement like JXT and Funtime Phil, and those are the two guys that really, because they are pretty popular with that crowd, and you want probably your most popular tag team, aside from I guess if BDE were there, to go up against your big heel tag teams. So I don't know if they're the guys that are going to knock them off, but they're definitely one of the guys that are going to stand in their way.
BDE will not be there because Ricky is now a white bloke from Queensland. I don't
know what's going on with that. Whoever he is, he's good looking, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, moving on from that, we had Tyson Reed taking on Crackerjack. This coming from Tyson eliminating Crackerjack in the Renegades Rumble after Crackerjack had previously beaten him in a match. Once again, we're looking at manager interference for this one. Cannot remember the name of the manager, but she spat Monster
Chloe
in the face.
St. James.
Thank you, Todd. Chloe spat some Monster in the face of Crackerjack, allowing Tyson Reed to get the victory, and Crackerjack to go backstage hunting them with the staple gun.
Oh, I was going to say, I think you missed there was a staple gun to an area.
Staple gun to the crotch and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it was all there. So the staple gun went to the crotch of Chloe, and the distraction let Tyson Reed blah, blah, blah. Right. It's the gimmicks. It's the toys on this one. Tyson Reed, I think, has such a different look in ring to how he looks promotionally, right? As soon as you've got him wrestling, he looks kind of like a pro wrestler rather than like the chav character he's supposed to be presenting. And I really don't know what to do about that, because his look doing that gimmick is so interesting up until he gets the gear off to wrestle, and then I feel like he just looks like another wrestler. And I want that gimmick to be carried through the match, other than your manager's drinking a Monster and you've got a bum bag as a signature weapon.
I kind of get it, but I can see the look going through the match. I can with the trackies, and he's still got the red tans on. That look is going and I understand.
Everyone's wearing red TNs. It's not. You're correct. That is an Eshe thing, but I just see so many of them that I don't notice it.
Yeah, but it's my thing for him was more like when he's wrestling and he's doing the moves, he looks great. Like he can execute, like suplexes look great. It's when he's doing his striking that I'm not sold. I'm like, you're supposed to be an Escher. The one good thing you're supposed to be good at is throwing a good punch. Or, you know what I mean? And that's when I was just like, oh, okay. He can wrestle really good. Like the actual wrestling moves he did looked crisp and looked really good. It was the striking that was just a bit of a disconnect for me. I don't know how you feel, Jeff.
Look, I don't have a comment on Tyson's character. I want to see where this specific feud goes, because I think that Crackers is going to bring a lot out of Tyson and probably give him a different dimension. So I want to see it.
But then, have they moved off that already to Carver? Or Cava?
Yeah, because after this match, you get Crackerjack chasing Tyson backstage with the staple gun. He's a little bit behind, so goes looking for them, sees Cava backstage, says, where'd they go? Cava says, do I look like Google Maps? Crackerjack says, you look like a cunt, and then staples him in the head, and the two go at it.
Language warning. Language warning.
Sorry. Reporting, quote. But yeah, it seems to me like the match now is Crackerjack and Cava. Like, it seems like the Tyson Reed thing's done. Which
I think it's more, and I think Tim Wilson's right on this. I think it's going to be a tag match. I think we're going to see Gore and Crackers against Tyson and Cava. Which I'm not complaining about.
No.
That'd be good.
If Gore's got an open challenge coming up at the next show, it would make sense for Tyson Reed, who's very full of himself, to meet that challenge, right? And then that leads into the tag situation. Can definitely see that happening. Yeah, this match didn't light my world on fire, but I thought that it was a perfectly fine match for this spot on the card. Because, turns out that Crackerjack bloke can wrestle.
He's got it's the personality is what carries a lot of his stuff, which is great.
Yeah. He is so very funny.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to another match that was very much about these characters, and another match where the finish was defined by a manager, Lockie Hendricks and Gino Gambino fighting over who is...
Sorry, Lachlan.
Sorry, the aspirationalist.
The king of wrestling, the aspirationalist Lockie Hendricks. Please get it right.
Yeah, that's right. Against Gino Gambino. So the kind of story of this match is that Lockie has decided he is the best that's ever been in Australia. Gino is the past, Lockie is now, and he wants to prove it. He's decided that he's the king now and Gino needs to give it up. As a result, Gino came back, gave him a big headbutt, pile drove him, and it really banged him up. That's leading into this match where Lockie, out of the gate, doesn't even let Gino get in the ring, launches chairs at him, goes for it. It goes hell for leather, absolutely onto it, back and forth. Gino's bleeding. It goes on, and then at the end of the match, Sebastian Walker, Gino Gambino's manager, comes into the ring with the crown, seeming to indicate that he might encourage Gino to hit Lockie with the crown, when all of a sudden, Sebastian Walker hits Gino with the crown, passes it to Lockie. What? Whoa, Sebastian Walker is now working with Lockie Hendricks? Lockie Hendricks wins the match. I am a Lockie Hendricks defender because of the parts of his style of putting together stories that resonate with me. So I really like the little things like the fact that Lockie not once put the crown on his head. Gino wears the crown on his head. Lockie doesn't have respect for the crown, and he doesn't see it as something that is intrinsic to who he is. He feels that he is the best, and the crown is a trophy. So he holds it high in the air, he spins it around his wrist, but he doesn't put it on his head. Whereas Gino wears the crown as a representation of Australian wrestling. So that feeds into this idea that Lockie does not have the respect for Gino. He doesn't have respect for all the people he's claiming to be better than. He doesn't have respect for Australian wrestling in general, right? Like, this is all the built-in story that Lockie loves to do. So those are the things I love about watching Lockie Hendricks, is just the little elements of, oh, he's not putting on the crown. He's just holding the crown. I love that stuff. I wasn't as into the match, which I think I'm probably alone on. I liked the story a lot better than I liked the match, and I could have seen a much tighter, shorter match with the same conclusion and been just as happy. I guess because, like Tim Wilkes says, oh my God, didn't see that finish coming from 10 years away, right? That was the finish. That was always going to be the finish as far as I was concerned. So the length of the match was almost a matter of, when are they going to get to the Sebastian Walker betrayal already?
See, I kind of disagree with you. I know that it was very Taker Paul Bearer with the whole bang. The thing is too, I don't know if you noticed, but Sebastian wasn't hanging around with Lockie. He wasn't with Lockie backstage when Lockie cut his promo.
He gave him.
I don't think he's with him. But they had to
on Gino.
Pardon? I think they had to do this just to get Sebastian away from Gino, so Gino can be a dyed-in-the-wool babyface. It's hard to be a dyed-in-the-wool babyface when you've got like a smarmy manager standing behind you. Trust me, I know.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. I think that he's like Walker's intent now is to go scorched earth on Gino. It's got nothing to do with Lockie. Lockie was a tool he used to commence going scorched earth on Gino. That's it. Now the fun begins. Now he's going to start sending people after Gino, which is going to be really interesting because Gino wants the crown back. People are going to be chasing Gino on behalf of Walker. Lockie's trying to keep the crown. It makes such interesting storytelling. I'm all in on this. I think this is going to be fantastic.
The match only went for like 8 minutes. I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought they did enough, but still left a lot on the table. So there's a lot more they can explore with this.
The match went for 8 minutes. It was a little longer than that when you add in the pre-match back and forth, right? But it wasn't a long match. Do quickly want to shout out
Slug Racing, who said he had a ball at Renegades. He went because we keep talking about it. Thank you. That's what we're here for, Slug. That's what we're here for, mate. And you got to say hi to me, and I said hi back. And that was really lovely.
Really great to hear that you enjoyed it, Slug Racing. That's absolutely awesome.
But yeah, this was, for me, this was a noticeable difference to the rest of the card. This felt like I felt something in this match. Where the rest of it felt like it was just a wrestling show. This felt like it was beyond a wrestling show a little bit.
All right, are you ready for... I think I've just discovered my new Cody is a heel take. And it's that I don't see Gino as a babyface. I see Gino and Juicy as two entirely different people. And I only see Gino as a heel.
He is. Can you go around?
I'll see him in a couple of weeks.
He's that dick who was in Bullet Club who came back to Australia wearing a crown saying that he was the king of Aussie wrestling when he hasn't been here for 5 years.
Yeah, but Lachlan, here's the Forge. He is a babyface. He's acting like a babyface.
Gino's up here in a couple of weeks?
Sorry?
I love the man, and he's incredible.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, no, and that's not a criticism of his work at all. It's just the way that I see the character as someone who, I guess, was not watching Australian wrestling when he was wrestling in Australia. I caught the very tail end of Gino being in Australia.
Did you watch his promo going into this?
Yes. And
you didn't?
Again, I get that he is doing all of the face things, but he's such a dangerous... He's a dangerous looking, grumpy looking, grizzled man. And that's not a baby.
What's fucking wrong with that?
Yeah,
Exhibit
grizzled men. Right? You got a problem with grizzled men?
Yeah, fuck you.
mean, There's a reason I'm the face on this podcast, right?
No, not anymore. Not any fucking more, brother. I hate to break it to you.
No, I know. I wish that I could get behind Gino as a face. Maybe it's just exposure, and I will get there. But yeah, it's not working for me yet because he's too much of a grizzled badass to be a fiery babyface.
It's also, if you see him live, he is a massive face. Even in the middle of that incredible heel run at MCW some years ago, he was still getting cheers. Because...
I cheered him in Perth, right? But that was Juicy. And it feels like there's a marked difference between Juicy and Gambino.
And you know, you cried when Hulk Hogan turned heel, didn't you? Because no gimmick can ever...
No, he wasn't watching wrestling
No
then.
one can ever call themselves a different name and be a different alignment. They need to be the alignment that Lachlan sees them as.
How old was I when that happened? 3? So, like...
Shut up. Dickhead, shut up. Fucking hurt my feelings more.
You're no longer the face on the podcast, Lachlan.
No, and I hope that Gino can change my mind on that. But if he wants to be a face, I think he's got to be Juicy. While he's Gino, he's a heel. That's the way my brain works for him.
If he wants to be a face, he's got to pass the Lachlan approval test.
That's exactly right. You know what? Cody,
sorry.
Cody didn't pass my test, so fuck him, right? Anyway, moving on. The Renegades of Wrestling women's title was on the line in a triple threat match between Aisha, Charlie Evans, and Tali. This one finishing with Aisha managing to get a victory over Charlie Evans after distracting Charlie with a fake out play of the Ambush's music, leading Charlie to think that there was going to be an attack. Aisha got the cheap shot in, got the victory, and after the match, Tali pointing to Charlie Evans, saying that she would have won if not for Charlie. So it looks like there's the future of the women's title feud going forward. Aisha's so good. The way she holds that belt, I think, is just superb. Todd?
Yeah, this was a really decent match. They all three of them did their role quite well. That being said, I think it was a lazy-ish finish. I think they could have maybe come to it in a different way than what they sort of did. It sort of like, it was one of those ones again, like I said with the tag match, it sort of just like ended abruptly.
Yeah, perhaps. I think a nicer finish would have been like Evans bonching Tali. Tali's down. Aisha throws Evans out of the ring and covers for a 3 count. It's a cliche, but it always works. It always gets the heel more heat. Aisha is a heel, Lachlan. Just letting you know that. Just in case.
Oh! That's why she cheated.
Thank you.
By the way,
I
boys, I think this is important information. Sorry to interrupt. When Hogan turned heel, I was 1.
Yeah, that's
just wanted
fine.
to throw that out
anyway, Aisha.
Cool
Aisha's
story, bro.
Yeah, Aisha's so good. Thanks for your input. Aisha's so good. Tali's a lot of fun, and Charlie Evans is Charlie Evans. You know, you're never going to get a bad match out of Ched. So this was great. I had a lot of fun watching this.
Yeah,
and the right person won.
Everything up to, and even the right person won the match. I just I just thought it was a lazy way of getting into the finish. I know that, but I was like, as soon as it happened, I went, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great match though. Aside from that, it was good.
It's kind of the modern lexicon of wrestling that kind of thing does happen. And I agree with you. It always leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. And in fact, I've noticed the WWE have stopped doing those finishes.
Yeah,
there used to be almost every show you'd guarantee 2 or 3 of them, but now they've kind of slowed down on it. And I like it. I do.
Also, it's another. Yeah, but it's another thing. But it's not like specific to this match. It's specific to like just wrestling in general right now. It's like every time there's a 3-way match, people are like, well, there's no DQ, so we can just do a like dirty finish and it'll be cool. Like I'll just hit someone with the belt in front of the ref, and that's cool. Whereas like, I don't know, because if you could do that, why wouldn't you just turn the whole match into a hardcore match? You know what I mean? They always wait till the very last minute to do that sort of thing. And it's not just this match in particular. It's just something I've noticed everywhere in wrestling at the moment. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know. I don't like it. Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's like, if you're going to do it, then why wouldn't you just do it from the start? Grab a fucking chair and start swinging?
Exactly. Why wait 9 minutes to suddenly make it a hardcore match? Make it a hardcore match.
That was a comment I was going to say about the Sebastian Walker thing too. Is like, if you're going to turn, why do you keep supporting him through the entire match when there's chairs getting thrown? And
but he didn't. Though.
I know that
if you look,
he stayed out of the way the whole time.
No, he stopped him when he was about to hit a pile driver. Sebastian got up on the ropes and distracted the ref in an inadvertent way. Like he laid the seeds for it.
When he threw the chair in, he did not throw it to Gino. He threw
it. He threw it in the middle.
Yeah, it was really. I want to shout out, actually, while we're on that, I want to shout out Walker for his work in that match. It was so good and so subtle. Walker, well done, man. Really enjoyed your work. And in fact, when he threw the chair in, I was sitting next to Shebexter, Tony Shebeki from On the Turnbuckle, and I went, Walker's going to turn heel here, man. It's coming in a big way. Like, as we said, like everyone knew it was coming, but that little chair spot confirmed it.
Yeah, it was the Paul Heyman spot when he did it with Roman and Brock. He threw the belt in the middle of the ring, so you still weren't sure which way it was going.
It was great. It was great. But yeah, this 3-way was really nice, and a great way to bring the crowd back into the room, because obviously after the Gino turn, there was a short break.
Yeah, absolutely. After this, the much-awaited return of the Airbender, Royce Chambers, coming back and defeating Sam Yanis in in a match, right? I love Royce Chambers, and he did some amazing stuff in this match. After the match, he kind of told everyone that he was working through an injury, which is really unfortunate. The poor bastard. Feel really bad for him, and hopefully he's back from that soon. But when you combine that injury with a bit of ring rust from being away, this didn't land in a lot of the ways I'd hoped it would.
Wow.
Right? I really liked a lot of what Royce did. This match didn't really work for me.
I will disagree. I liked it. I thought it was a really good reintroduction for people that didn't know Royce. It was a good introduction for Royce. For people that did know Royce, it was like he gave them all the hits, and like it was hard to do with that. Like a torn meniscus, you don't need a lot of times. You don't need surgery, but it really does like screw with your your ability to do things with your legs, because it's your fucking knee. A meniscus is a son of a bitch. I've had a torn ACL and that was fucked, but the meniscus is less, but still it's more stability. And a lot of the stuff he does, he needs that stability.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look, the biggest crime.
Sorry to interrupt, Todd. The little things that Royce is normally so damn good at are the things that I noticed missing. Right. So when he did the big, and I don't even know how to describe the move, but it was where he jumps up and sits backwards on the top rope and then turns that into like a twisting moonsault thing, but he just connected with the arm, and it's like normally he can do that insane move and hit it square, and he just got some of it, and it wasn't quite the Royce I'm used to seeing, and I guess
Whoa, you are a heel.
I'm on fire tonight.
I'm going to give you this shirt. Fuck, yeah, come on, Dave.
I think that this was a great match.
Yeah.
For a few reasons. One is it's probably genuinely for the first time Royce has stepped in a ring for a while, with the exception of doing some rolls and maybe some falls and stuff. The second thing is that He is so good. So
He's
what
so
if he only
good.
hit the arm? It doesn't matter. At this point, all that mattered was the people seeing him. You've also got to consider Royce's personal journey in this, Lachlan.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think you quite are. You've got to give him a little bit of a break. Sure, it wasn't his finest match. I'm sure he agrees. But it was the moment that counted. It's like saying, oh, well, The Rock, Hogan, hang on, before you just let me finish.
Yep.
Let me finish. It's like going, well, The Rock Hogan isn't a technical masterpiece. No, but the moment's amazing. And that's why, this match is a great match. Was it a technical masterpiece? No. Is it the best thing we'll see out of Royce Chambers in his entire career? No. We're going to see a lot more from Royce moving forward.
Yeah, look, you were never gonna see Royce 1,000% polished for this match, with or without the meniscus injury. You just weren't going to see it. It was still a really, really good, and like Royce's 70 or 80% is better than like a lot of people's 100%. The biggest crime in this match was whoever cut fucking Royce's hair.
Oh man, I thought I told him to shave those sideburns.
Yeah.
Very well said, Mr. Burns. Sam Yanis also, like, let's not undervalue Sam Yanis' performance either. He really held up his end of the deal well.
Absolutely.
As a face who had to be a heel, who was forced to be a heel just because of Royce, the reaction to Royce, which was completely expected.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing that he did really, really well, and to the point where I'm like, oh, is this going to sort of hurt him going forward, being this heel in this match? Like, I'm not sure it will, but I'm just like, because he had to lean into it, because you just had to for this match. But it's just like, oh, yeah, I hope this. It was a genuine like, oh, I hope it doesn't, because he seems like a really good worker. So I want to see more from that kid in the future as well. But yeah, I thought it was fine.
I think my perception of the match was hurt by a couple of things. One was just how excited I was to see Royce back in the ring, right? And that had me so amped up from the start of the match. And on top of that, this was my most anticipated match of the show. And there'd been, 5 matches beforehand, and now we're in the main event zone, and I'm so psyched for it. And then this is the one criticism I have of the kind of production going onto YouTube, is that you can hear on commentary going, the noise in this building is incredible right now. And it just sounded like every pop that had been through the night so far. Had I been in the building, that feeling would have been undeniable, I am sure. And the elation of the crowd to see Royce back in a ring, if I'd been there, I wouldn't have been watching the match. I would have just been, hypnotized by the fact that Royce was there.
I will say this, that the announcers were quite correct. The noise in the building when Royce walked out was incredible. He had personal friends there. He had family there. He also had a lot of his mates and supporters, of which obviously representing both of you and myself, we are mates and supporters of Royce to the nth degree. I think the announcers were 100% correct. The crowd made a lot of noise and really lifted for Royce, and it was good. It was one of those things where you weren't sure whether it was going to be on second last or last, just because the main event is always about the title, particularly at Mikey J's shows, generally always the title. But this was something special. I thought we saw something really, really amazing, and I disagree completely that it was a letdown in any way, shape, or form, especially because it was about the moment. It was about Royce coming back.
Oh, and I 100% had set my expectations too high because I love Royce so much. Like, that's what it came down to, is that either I needed to be in the building to feel the emotion of, hey, everyone, Royce is back, or I needed to go into it not so pumped to see the return of Royce. And, having watched all of his stuff in DDT, having watched all of those insane things he can do, there's no way that after that time away, I should have come in expecting the full Royce Chambers Airbender performance. And that's
so essentially you healed yourself.
Yeah, I healed myself. I heard my own experience of that one. So I'll take credit for that. But bloody hell, it was.
I think moving forward, we need to change the clap to "Whoa!"
It was very good to see Royce back in a ring. I gotta say that, and even
I'm gonna let just quickly. I'm gonna let you boys start talking about the main event. I just have to go to the bathroom really quickly.
Do your business, sir.
I'm sorry.
He's not sorry at all. He's not. Yeah. So my expectations were sky high for this, and I think that I had too much of a critic brain on, and I should have had a let's enjoy CM Royce brain on.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Watch it again and watch it as a fan, and tell me what you think.
And that's what I've got to do, right? And I'll be very clear here. Yeah, I'll be very clear about this. I can't wait to see Royce back, especially hoping that meniscus is better, hoping that, now that he's had a taste of being back in the ring, he's ready to get back to it, because I cannot speak highly enough about his work, and it's so good to see him back.
He was pretty much hugging everybody after the match. Like, I saw him after the show and gave him a big hug, and he was quite warm and quite wonderful, and later sent me a message. Later sent me a message on Insta saying I'm the man. And, he was clearly loving the attention and loving having that group of mates and the core group around him and supporting him. And we know he listens to the show. And Royce, we love you. We love seeing you back, mate. Hope you get back soon with a meniscus that isn't meniscus.
And yeah, I want to be in a situation where when I'm reviewing stuff on this show, I'm watching it with the critical eye. But when I go back and watch it as a fan, I'm just going to be happy to see Royce doing his Royce moves.
You watch it as a fan, mate. Let me be the critical one, because it's I'll take the heat. Let's face it.
I'm here as a fan predominantly. I love the sport, and for me, there was that guy, and he was a meme. It's still real to me. Damn it, the guy crying at a cornet lecture. That's me. That's me, 100%.
Yeah. And man, if I was in the building for the return of Royce, that would have been me, 100%.
Oh God, yeah.
Right. So I am excited to see more of Royce back in the ring. I can't wait.
I actually think they should have changed the name from Uprising to Uproicing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the main event. Caveman Ugg trying to defend the Renegades of Wrestling title against Emin Usman. This one had Emin with the entire ambush at his side, and so it was exactly as chaotic as you'd expect. This had referee knocked out, and then interference from ambush. Then, Caveman Egg doing the most insane stuff that you can see a man of his size do. He did that leaping, spinning corkscrew clothesline.
Yeah, I love that. I love that spot.
Jesus Christ, what a move. And the end of this one with the referee down had Levi Nixon coming into the ring, holding his ring like he was going to cash in and make this a triple threat. But with the referee down, what could he do? And he used the ring to punch Caveman Egg in the face, knock him down, join the ambush by helping Emin Usman gain the Renegades of Wrestling title. This was... I loved this. Start to finish, I thought this was tops.
Yeah. I'm not for a second am I arguing with you. It was well paced. It was so well done. And hey, one of us in January said for our Australian...
Said that all of Renegades would have belts. We heard it, Jeff. We remember. It was you.
Yeah, it was. No, but in all seriousness, I thought this was a really good match. Played into both of their strengths. Emin looked great for the smaller man, and I'm saying that in the way that you never felt sympathy for him, because Ugg dominated him, but he never crossed the line to having a sympathetic moment, which is really, really smart. I really like this, and I think that Emin is going to be a terrific champion and a great shit heel, like a great shit heel.
Oh yeah,
as your champ of Renegades of Wrestling.
Tim Wilkes saying that was a main event. Absolutely right. My only criticism is I still hate when Ugg talks, because it points out that he's human and not a supernatural caveman. I want him to be a beast that's traveled from the past and doesn't know English. So it's weird when he just talks and is a guy.
No one ever change. That's what I'm learning from you tonight, Lachlan.
That's the point. Be who you are, and then never ever alter your personality one iota, or else you're dead to me. Todd,
Can I be the arsehole here?
well, I've been being it all night, so if you could take it off me, that'd be great.
Like if you pull the referee out and then stomp the ever loving shit out of that referee, wouldn't you expect when that referee comes to, he would just, I don't know, disqualify the fuck out of them?
Yeah.
Crickets. Pardon? But I'm just like, yeah. I was like, I like even the pulled leg. The pulled leg, I have no issue with, because pulled leg, whoop, bang. Referee maybe didn't see who did that. It's not hard to see, like the fact that what's his Jarvis is stomping the ever loving shit out of you. After a fair while, you kind of know what happened to you, so you would just even if there was another ref that came in, and I know they kept talking about that on commentary, that might have been a different story, because that other ref mightn't have seen what happened, came in and done this. But that was the only thing. Like everything else you said, 100% correct. But the other thing, I was just like, okay, they've just punched the shit out of the ref, and the ref still counted the 3 for them.
My justification, because this is a problem that I've had with a bunch of matches in the past, and I ended up justifying it to myself as, if you get beat up that bad, when you come to, you're not all the way with it. And so he's on his refereeing instincts, and he counts the 3 because he sees shoulders on a mat, and then he's going to think about what's going on later. Like, that's all the justification I've got for it, because you're absolutely right. If he thinks for a moment, he goes, well, they beat me up, so disqualified.
That's I know that's me being fucking pedantic and all that shit, but it's the shit I think about when I'm like doing something in a match. It's like, look, I can't do that right in front of the fucking ref. Why wouldn't he just disqualify me? Like, if I pull the ref out, he has to either like disqualify the thing or eject me. Go on, you were going to say something?
I'm kind of... Yeah, while I in theory agree with you, I believe in something called the moment of the match. And in the moment of the match, it's that thing of, well, this is for the world title, this is for the Renegades title. We've got to give it a bit of leeway. Like the referee would be going, all right, yeah, you're beating the shit out of me.
You can kick my ass a little bit.
I want to see a winner.
Then you just eject them from ringside. You would have ejected them from ringside from the jump, and then have them sneak back in.
Yeah,
that's.
Yeah, that
I don't know. It's just me being fucking a pain in the ass, and I get it, and I fully accept that about me.
But I did enjoy. I do too. I did enjoy this, and I enjoyed seeing Ambush with all the titles. Eamon looked like Eamon week before on Turnbuckle. When Bro said to Eamon, "Do you have any message for Ugg?" He goes, "Yes, Ugg. I'm going to take." Actually, no. Ugg, belt go bye bye. And I thought that was hilarious. And Eamon's definitely got a really good.
I like the subtle touches of Jarvis looking at Thingy after it, still not sure what he's doing there. So it's obvious that Eamon hasn't told them that this was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, the Levi Nixon not being trusted by the rest of the ambush, I thought was nice.
Yeah. So it's a nice little story, and they added a member. Say,
before we jump off that match, credit to Ugg for not only a great performance in that match, but 254 days as champion of great performances. Like, what an absolute machine Ugg isn't. Yes. Just, you can never say a bad thing about Ugg. He is always the bloody best. So, go Ugg.
He is a main event.
Yeah, I think
in the purest sense. Yeah. Like, you see a main event every time you look at Ugg. No matter where he is on the card, he's in the main event.
Yeah. So congratulations to Emin as the new champion. Again, if you want to see that match, it's really easy. You head on over to YouTube. It's this little website. It's at youtube.com, or you can just Google YouTube. Google's at google.com if you haven't heard of that one. If you type Renegades of Wrestling into YouTube,
I'm the heel, okay? I'm the fucking heel. Will you stop this?
The point
I know it looks like fun, but stop it.
It is so insane to me how easy it is to watch this show for free. It's on YouTube for free. It was live last month, and now it's on YouTube for free. Go watch it. Go watch it. Right? Yeah. Go to YouTube, search Renegades of Wrestling. It's Uprising. It's on there, and it's not the only Renegade show that's on there for free. Their YouTube channel. I mean, it's worth subscribing to, right? Because Uprising is on there. We Are Renegades is on there. You know, there's highlights from other shows too, because I know they had that. There was like a Matt Hater match that they just put up for free. It's wild to me that you can get full free Renegade shows on YouTube the month after they were live. So, credit.
And it's also worth noting, like, follow those boys on social as well. Follow the Renegades crew on social, because they put interesting stuff up. And they always tell you when their events are. And sometimes you don't know, only because they're doing, like, music tours and shit. Like, they're a Destroy All Lines group now. So they go off and do different music festivals and stuff like that. So
yeah, like I got to see them at Knotfest, right? Yeah. Like that's the good stuff. So yeah.
That's actually a shortened name. The full name of that is Cody and Gino Gambino are Knotfest heels.
Ah, there you go. See, I hadn't heard that before. But look, if you want to get to the next show, Renegades of Wrestling, God Save the Renegades is going to be Sunday the 9th of June at Northcote Theatre. If you want to get tickets to that show, the website is saverow.eventbrite.com. That'll get you straight to purchase tickets. And again, like if you want to see some good wrestling in Melbourne, get into it. It's 18 plus, but that's because it's that kind of show. So make sure you get in there and get to the Northcote Theatre for that one. It's not the only Australian show going on, though. We should also mention a couple coming up in Melbourne with MCW Ballroom Brawl. I'd tell you to get tickets for that one, but it's sold out. You can't. So you'll have to enjoy it on, presumably, Triller Plus and Stream Horizon when it arrives on there. Speaking of, MCW show High Stakes is going to be going live on Friday night at 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Jeff was there. Meanwhile,
watch this show. Like,
yeah, Todd not. I'm not going to speak for Todd, but I'm on pins and needles to watch High Stakes. So it's out on Triller Plus and Stream Horizon Friday night 7:30. That's MCW High Stakes. So
yeah. It'll also be next week's review, so.
And don't just kind of browse the results and go, oh yeah, I get the picture. No. What you really want to watch this show, it is a banger. It is, in my opinion, MCW's best show in years. I'll mention the full story next week, but as a teaser, Rowan, who co-owns MCW, came up to me at the end of a show last year and said, I should have done this, shouldn't I? This show, High Stakes, is them making up for the thing they should have done. And boy, is it good. But I'll tell you more about that next week. Do not miss it. Watch this show this weekend. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, well, good, because we're going to review it, so it's probably good to watch it again.
You want to be up to date with it. Also worth keeping an eye on, if you're in Melbourne, August is when OPW are going to be returning, and that's in Ballarat for Gold Rush, which has a big international name, Mustafa Ali. Also coming up is EPW presenting Gold Rush as well, Mission Possible. So that one's at The Point in Merriwa on Saturday, May 11th, with a massive main event. The EPW heavyweight title is currently vacant because of an injury that was sustained during that big weekend in Perth when WWE came to town. And so there's a match to see who takes it home. TMDK champion Slex is going to be competing that. And on the other side of the ring is going to be
No, it's
Mate,
Damian.
read the notes. The notes are there. The notes are there for a reason.
It's like
in the rundown.
Bloody hell.
Come on, mate.
Damian Slater. TMDK's Damian Slater. I'm trying to run off memory. It's just been a big week.
I do notes, you know. I work hard at these things.
I should read them sometime. Hey.
I cultivate. I peruse stories. I work hard.
Damian Slater of TMDK is going to be trying to win that title, but on the other side of the ring is someone he's clashed with plenty of times. The young boy himself, Jesse Lambert, the P-Plater, is going to be trying to win that belt as well.
Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to give him the belt?
When was the last time Jesse Lambert and Damian Slater faced off against each other?
Ooh.
Any idea?
In Reawakening?
I think it would have been at WrestleBrania.
Yeah, it was. It was at WrestleBrania.
You just got to know what it's listening for, Todd.
That
I knew.
I know you knew. I can see in your eyes, you knew. That wound up with Damian Slater on the losing end. Will he avenge that this weekend? Personally, I think it's Slater's time. I personally think that Slater's going to wind up with that belt, and it's going to be one hell of a match. I mean, Lambert's got so much personality and charisma, and is a great wrestler to back it up. And Slater, well, you can't wax lyrical enough about the abilities of Damian Slater, one of Australia's finest. I honestly think it's going to be Slater with the win.
Damian Slater is one of the best wrestlers to ever come out of Australia. It's Jesse Lambert for the big one. It's gotta be. It's gotta be Jesse.
Todd, break us up as you normally
I
do.
don't like. I think merely for the fact that I'm a story guy, I think it's going to be Damian Slater, and then Jesse's going to chase.
Yep, I can see that.
Because I just don't think Jesse's ready. I don't think he's quite ready for that.
No, but imagine the pop, Todd. Imagine the pop when he does it. Oh, it's gotta be.
Yeah, and it'll be great in like Reawakening.
Yeah,
that's true.
You build it. You build it. You don't do it now.
Yeah, calm down, Tony.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, look, we've got plenty more to talk about because Backlash happened over the weekend, so we've got to chat about that. There's a ton of wrestling news from everything going on all around the world, so we'll be back to cover all that right after this.
Do you want to be a pro wrestler? Then sign up now to the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling.
Located 50 minutes west of Melbourne with a full gym, strength and conditioning coaches, a nutritionist, and world-traveled professional wrestling coaches to help you achieve your goals in the professional wrestling business. Whether you want to be a wrestler, a manager, referee, or just involved in the industry, with no tryout required, the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling is here to help you achieve your goals.
All you have to do to start your journey is sign up now to be relentless.
All right, now that they're gone, what do you want to talk about? No, I'm kidding. Oh, dear. Oh, wow. So, what did we do? Oh, last weekend, because we're in the break, so I'll talk about it. Last weekend, I was up at Maryborough I'll just do that, bang, while they're off. I was up at Maryborough for White Bay Pro. Really good show. A lot of a lot of good young talent coming through there, and also just as an aside, when it does eventually go to YouTube, I guess, check out Renegade versus Tim Hayden last man standing match. Really, really good. And it's not even because I was involved, because I wasn't really involved in that match at all. I took my happy ass to the back for that. So hang on, there
That's
he
not
is. He's
necessarily true. You were involved in part of it, but
back. Oh, the intros, yeah. And then I went to the back.
I was actually saying to anyone listening before the podcast, Renegade's interstate title run has been one of the best.
Renegade the wrestler, by the way, not the promotion.
I don't know if I've said this to you, Todd. I wish he would have a different name.
Oh, mate, I've pitched him different names relentlessly. Relentlessly. I've pitched him different names all the time, but he just
that would make you a
sticks
bit
with
of a renegade.
He should rename himself Relentless. That'd be really good. But
well, like I wanted him to call himself his real first name, Renegade, then like part of his last name.
Yeah, that's good. I solidly think he should use his real first name. But
I'm still here.
He
I'm
can
just
do what he
turning the
wants
camera off
to
for a
do.
brief sec.
All right, mate.
He can do what he needs to do. I just think that every time he has walked into a ring for a match with that title, it has been match of the night contender easily. You know, I seriously.
But that's also the kind of the idea for that belt.
I know it is, but the fact that he's done it so consistently, and I'm saying match of the night like minimum. I think a lot of the matches he's had were my match of the year contenders, like repeatedly. He has had multiple match of the year contenders for me already in Wide Bay with that title. I think he is absolutely unbelievable, and it doesn't hurt that the quality of opponent that he's getting put up against is as high as it is. Like guys like Tim Hayden, I can wax lyrical about Tim Hayden all day. And, you know, it doesn't hurt that he's the loveliest guy in the world. But he's got it in ring. He's just got it. He is so quick. And you don't remember just how quick he is until he does something and you go, how did he get there? I blown away by that match. Can't back you up enough on that one, Todd.
But yeah, it was a fun night, and like I said, and I put this in a private post on like my Facebook thing, but to see where that we've come from as a group, from like 2 years ago where we'd get like 80 people to those shows, to now where we're getting like 150, 160 at a minimum to these shows in a small country town on a public holiday weekend when it was raining and they were selling a new style of chips. I know that's a whole fucking thing, but it's still like to see the growth in the workers. What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, the new chips.
But that's the thing though, like people always use those excuses all the time. Like, oh, we would have drew more, but they just brought in a new flavour over it. Bloody, we really got to stop doing that.
I'll bring Jeff in. No, I'll bring Jeff in. No, I'll bring Jeff in. Jeff, meanwhile, is you know what Jeff has just done, so he's going.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
Obviously, you know, Todd and I are on Wide Bay, so we don't want to toot the own horn too much. But I'm lucky because I'm not really performing on the show. I'm sitting behind a desk watching it for most of the show, and it's just a delight. It's so good. And every worker on that show puts on a better match than they did last month. That's the thing that blows me away about it. Right.
Yeah. And then one of the nice things about, well, not the nice things, but one of the different things about that show last weekend is that I kind of took myself out of it for the most part. Like I didn't really, like I walked to the ring with Tim and then I kind of walked to the back because of the style of match it was. The main event was like a Survivor Series match, so there was no real point of me being out there with Mitch, sort of thing. So I pretty much just sat in the back and did what I guess my role would be if I wasn't on like an on-screen character, because I just got to sit back and really like take in what was happening in some of the matches. So it was a nice different change for me. Maybe something that like when I do eventually like hang up the Jordans, then I'll just do that maybe for a little while. I don't know. But it was fun. It was a different thing because I just kind of got to run sort of things backstage a bit more than what I normally would.
You should come do commentary with me tomorrow. It'll be a laugh.
I've had to do that at fucking Pro League for the last couple, and be on screen, and be fucking...
Yeah. No, not all that. Not all that. But I was upset about the chips. Thanks, Tim. But yeah, I want to shout out that it's tough with Wide Bay because it is so far away.
Yeah.
It really is so far away.
As an aside, and we'll talk about it soon. We're going to be talking about it soon. I listened to, and a couple of boys watched half of Backlash on our drive back. That's how late we get in.
Jesus.
So yeah. So it was the show was halfway over when I got into my driveway. So put it that way.
Yeah, I got home and then looked at Backlash results. So, you know.
Yeah.
I woke up on Sunday and watched it.
Yeah. Asshole.
Because I'm not that fucking stupid.
It's so hard to recommend people to go to it because of that distance.
Yeah, Wide Bay, yeah. Oh, cool. Of course it is. It's my biggest, like, if I could move the place closer, I would. Just because it's my pet project.
You guys are doing incredible work there, so well done to both of you.
It's the crew. It's the crew. If everyone didn't do their part, like, it doesn't matter what I write. It doesn't matter what I ask people to do. If they don't constantly put in and like improve themselves on their own time, not just on the shows, but none of this happens. Which is, it's a credit to all of those guys, to be honest with you. They luckily for me, they help make me look good every show. So,
and look, I know that Todd is notorious for... Sorry, you go, Jeff.
I appreciate you being humble, but it doesn't happen without good booking. Like, we've seen that. You don't get 160 people a month or every other month or however often Wide Bay is, and I'm pretty sure it's monthly. You don't get that without a good booker. You don't. It's a fact. If your stories are shit, people don't come. So thank you for the humility. I appreciate it. I'm sure every member of your crew appreciates it. But get your fucking hand off it and take the compliment.
I was going to say something very similar. We all know that Todd is genuinely very humble when it comes to that stuff, but he is doing some excellent stuff with the booking there. But it gets made easier for him when the quality of the workers on that show is so high, and they all really clearly want to make that show the best it can be. And I think it shows like Wide Bay, and I see it as well whenever we watch Relentless, right? Whenever we watch Mayhem. Right? Because you can see that that's a crew who wants to make that show a fucking awesome show. And it comes through the screen at you. And that's what it feels like at Wide Bay, is the people who are there want this to be talked about as, hey, there's this little regional show that's the best thing in Queensland.
Yeah. It's quite clear that you've got no one who's just walking across the ropes and, throwing weak-looking shots into corners and stuff like that. You've got real class.
Not anymore, baby.
They used to. That's never been forgotten, my brother. Anyway,
not anymore, baby. I put the Jordans down. The Jordans planted firmly. All right, let's get back into this.
Should we talk about Backlash?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a week, boys. I am going to do my best to stay awake through this whole second half. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestling Radio Show, where we talk about everything around the world of wrestling. Speaking of around the world, Lyon France was the host of Backlash, which was, I'm going to say, a mostly predictable show. I think a lot of the big matches went exactly the way we thought the big matches were going to go. But even a show like that can come out really good when you have a tight card with good workers accentuated by a white-hot crowd. And we've said it every time the WWE goes international, the crowd show how much of a difference it makes to have a crowd that's invested in it. And oh, shut up, Tim. Tim Wilkes saying nobody in France thought Cody was a heel. But they also didn't think AJ Styles was a heel, so I don't know, take your pick, right? I think that going back to Raw on Monday was like such a... You could feel that the air out. You could feel what was missing after seeing that French crowd who were just absolutely off the charts all night. It was so much fun to watch. Any overall thoughts before we get into the card?
Look, while I agree with you, it was quite predictable. It was still really entertaining. Yeah, the crowd lifted. The crowd brought a lot to it. And I read online a lot of people going, "Oh, we should have been more like that in Australia." Remember, this is a smaller stadium. Secondly, it's an enclosed stadium. We had an open roof. A lot of the sound that we made was traveling upwards. Thirdly, they had to cut the feed because we were being that inappropriate. So, you know, there's a difference. The French crowd probably were being inappropriate, but no one in English-speaking countries could probably understand them.
Also, they're soccer fans. They're used to singing together.
Yeah. And what a wonderful idea to wheel out Kevin Owens to open that show. Really, really good idea. Just get that crowd going. And if they weren't hot already, Owens just made them go, wham. Really entertained. Thoroughly.
So let's talk about the card. There are new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, defeating the Kabuki Warriors to gain those titles. Kabuki Warriors maybe didn't have the run that we would hope with those belts, but it feels very clear that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill as a team are being set up to be white hot until they split so that we can get the Bianca Jade match, presumably at next WrestleMania. I think that this was good, and I think that when you put these four women together, like Jade's obviously still green, but the Kabuki Warriors are bloody excellent wrestlers. They are truly fantastic, and Bianca Belair is a freak of nature. She is so good at pro wrestling, and Jade has all the tools and is getting towards putting them together. This was good stuff.
I like this. This was the only match on the show where I thought, yeah, it was fine. It was a SmackDown match. It was a match they could have had on SmackDown weeks ago. But it was fine. Even the crowd didn't seem as into this as other matches, saying that. I mean, that just means they were on a 9.99999 out of 10 instead of an 11.
I was going to say, where was this on the card? I can't remember off the top of my head.
This was... I think this was the cool-down match between Priest and Uso, and then this one, and then Cody, and I think from memory.
Yeah.
Semi-main spot.
Semi-main, I think. Second last, yeah. Yeah, Tim's confirming that.
Yeah. But that is, I guess, the biggest change of status quo that happened, other than what happened in the next match. So just before we get to that, any more thoughts about that match there, Todd?
No, I thought it was good. It was good. Like, I love these people that go there going, well, why did they hold Jade Cargill back for so long, saying that she had to be trained or retrained or blah, 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 when she did all the same moves that she did in AEW, yada, yada, yada. It's the fact that she knows where to put them now. And she knows now how to sell. And she knows, like, working certain things. Like, none of that stuff was taught to her before, really. Like, she's been refined. That's why she was off the show, shows for so long. For that. So, yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. Like, she is evolving as a worker. It's good to see.
She is evolving. I do have I've got a slight criticism for you, Lachlan. Why look for when they're going to break up? and what's going to happen there. Just enjoy the time there together. I'm a big believer in that. It's like with what they're doing with Alpha Academy. People are just waiting. I've heard people going, I can't wait till Otis turns on Gable. Why? Why does
I actually thought that last Raw, when he was dressing them down, I thought that's when we were going to see the Creeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought the Creeds were going to jump them, and that was it. And I'm just like, oh, all right, how long is this going to take?
Enjoy the story while the story's in front of us.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that part of... I'm someone who likes the structure of stories. I really find joy in all of that little storytelling stuff. And knowing the ending doesn't hurt, and I think can enhance the interest in how you get there. Right?
Why?
So I've got a strong prediction for the ending, which means that I'm able to... I don't have to look back when they do it in the future and work out what all of the little things were. If I've got an idea of what the ending's going to look like, I can be paying attention to those little things now and getting joy from them.
But I think Trips has started to show us that you can be wrong, man. You can be wrong.
Oh, and if I am wrong, that's great.
Enjoy
but if I don't guess
wrong.
now, then I don't have the opportunity to be wrong.
And if you don't guess now, you don't say what I said earlier, which is that Jeff called all 3 members of the ambush haven't got. Oh,
Yeah,
is this the
exactly.
popcorn time? Have you got my popcorn? I wondered where it went. Anyway, look, just enjoy the ride. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Enjoy the ride.
What I'm saying is I'm enjoying the ride, Jeff. I'm enjoying the ride more because I know that the roller coaster won't fall off the tracks at the end. I know that it goes back into the station.
Of course it won't fall off the fucking station. You know?
Yeah, but this is the point. I like a ride where I know where it's going because I get to pay attention to how it gets there. Tim,
That's not true. When you know a ride's going, you usually just fall asleep on the train, mate. So
Exactly. Exactly. Don't fall asleep on the train.
And I snore like cutting wood. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
hey, at least I didn't film it. I could have filmed it.
You could have filmed it. That's very
This is
true.
why I made sure I closed that door every night while you guys were staying in my place.
Tim Wilkes asks, have you been scanning the QR codes? I haven't, just because it's a lot of work. And I appreciate it. Some people like that, but man, there's a lot of work to it, isn't there?
I haven't, but I am.
And he doesn't know the ending, so he doesn't want to follow this story.
I know the ending. It's Bo Dallas.
I haven't but I have been following what they are. So I don't scan them. I just follow what they are. And go, oh yeah, they're doing that again. I don't think they should. There you go. That's a hot take. I don't think they should. I think, you know what? I would agree with you if it wasn't one of the family members involved. Yeah.
So obviously they have express permission from.
Oh, absolutely.
The
they have to.
Rotundos.
I mean, I'd absolutely give Bo Dallas a job. Totally give him a job.
Yeah.
But I just,
Do you know what though? If Bo's like, look, this is what Wyndham would have wanted us to carry on, at least tell the story in one way, shape, or form, then that's fine. I heard that Keanu just wrote that. Just wrote the names that are apparently going to be. Apparently, it's not going to be Eric. It's going to be. It's not going to be Alexa, but it's going to be. What's her name?
Thea Hale.
She was not Thea Hale. She was in that other thing with Eric Young.
Oh, Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross. Thank you. Yes.
I have heard.
So
No,
Bo,
I have heard it be both. I've heard it's going to be both.
But not Braun.
No, not Braun.
No.
No Braun. I think Braun is too strong a babyface right now because this is going to be a tweener stable.
He's very strong. I saw him lift an ambulance once.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Can we get another post?
Mate, I'm telling you.
turning everyone against me
it's
tonight.
Fucking. I've got Nick on fucking speed dial. I'm just saying.
He was saying how hard a week he's had. It's been a hard hour and a half for you and I here.
Speaking of getting someone to come in, Tanga Loa has debuted as part of the tag team match between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. This new bloodline starting to fill out. Big change in the status quo here. Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga getting the win with the help of the debuting Tama Longa. What did we reckon of this one, Todd?
The funny thing is, when we were driving like home, because we were the boys were watching it, I was listening to it as we were driving home from Wide Bay, and we were starting talking about like the bloodline and blah blah blah. And when do you think that what's his name was going to debut for them? What's his name?
Oh, not Tankman. The one who wrestled Tankman a bunch.
Yes, yes, that guy. Oh man, when we remember, we'll say his name.
Junior
but
Fatu.
Thank you, Fatu. We were talking about like when do you think he was going to debut, and I, funnily enough, said, "Do you know what? Before I debuted him, I would probably try and see what Tangaloa's doing, and then you've got the Gorillas of Destiny as a tag team. That would be great. I just think that would be cool." I don't know what his contract situation is with New Japan. I think he's pretty signed and all that sort of stuff. But it would be really cool if you could have got the brother in. And then, like an hour later, this happened. And they're like, what did you fucking know? I'm like, I didn't know shit. That was me throwing shit out. I didn't know anything about this. But this, if anything, sets up Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and The Rock against Roman, the Usos, and then Fatu as your Survivor Series War Games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am there for that. Look, I thought this was great.
I'm just enjoying the ride, by the way.
But you don't know where it's going.
That's a story I don't believe the prediction on. There's a massive difference between let's break them up.
But it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler.
Break up at the end of it. Look, I really like this match. I thought this, it was so amazing to watch Randy Orton having that much fun. Like he always has fun, but this was another level. They were singing his fucking song, and he was just laughing. He was having a great time. Look, I thought this was terrific. I thought that there was natural chemistry between all four, and the Tangaloa debut was a nice bit of work. So, yeah, I was all in for this. And again, I love the idea of it being the opener. A great opener.
Absolutely. Todd?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to do it. So, Keanu Reeves says, Keanu Reviews says, did you see the reports? They were worried Fatu might shine brighter than Solo. Do you know what my question is? Who the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Like, they always say all this shit. They are worried about this. They are worried about that. They don't know shit half the time.
They say that Cody's a heel.
They... Oh, we know who they is. We know who that they is. that they is. Oh, jeez.
Oh, listen, Trent Brooks, thank you so much. That opener had almost as much chemistry as you three. Not quite, mate. Not quite. Thank you very much.
Me and you, Trent, you know it, buddy. WWE Women's Champion Bayley defended her title in a triple threat match against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. This one...
I've never seen one person so happy to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Naomi was ecstatic to lose.
Just all there for it. Tiffy's the future, man. She's so good.
God.
Isn't she amazing?
She's great, but I want her to lay off the plastic surgery. The face is, it's just, I'm worried. I'm concerned. But so entertaining and so good. And clearly speaks well, clearly knows, has that factor where she knows where to be and when. She doesn't look like, a few years ago I criticized Bianca Belair and said that she waits for spots to happen. Like wrestlers can do that. It's the thing that wrestlers do. They look like they're waiting for the next bit.
do.
I laugh because it's something I normally would have said.
Tiffany is... I really like her gimmick. I really like the way she's like your California mean girl. And she absolutely can go in the ring. It never looks like she's doing the doo-doo thing of waiting for spots.
Love the echo there, Todd.
Yeah.
am so excited for the Tiffany Stratton-Charlotte feud that is inevitably coming, where Tiffany goes, I'm you, but new and improved. That's going to be a belter. I love everything Tiffy's doing. I think that having Bailey lose here would have been criminal after her finally getting her moment at WrestleMania, because I am so glad that we've got Bailey as a good, solid women's champion. I really had a good time with this.
And this was Naomi's best match since she's come back. Absolutely Naomi's best match since she's come back. It didn't look like she was overextending herself and doing high-flying stuff. It just looked like she wrestled a good match, and I was really pleased to see that.
Absolutely. World Heavyweight Championship on the line with Damian Priest defending against Jey Uso. Again, this was one where there was no way that Priest was losing in his first defense of this title.
No.
As good as Jey Uso is, and the main event Jey Uso gimmick, and seeing him in that spot is really nice. This was always going to be Damian Priest, but the fact that they put on a solid match going to that end point is really good. I think that this is the kind of match Priest needed to have to prove that he's not just World Heavyweight Champion because they decided to put Money in the Bank on him however long ago. He's World Heavyweight Champion because he's that damn good. And he is going to be a good champion going forward.
I think there's two things I want to note here before Todd, who finally seems to have settled in with a new pair of headphones. Thanks, mate. Firstly, and Jey Uso made mention of this, the Fireflies were out. It's a bit tacky, but it's quite beautiful that France just put their phones on and did the Yeet thing. And it was reminiscent of when people were singing He's Got the Whole World in Their Hands, and that was quite emotional and lovely. But also the story coming out of this with Damian Priest's slight dissension with the rest of Judgment Day. I really like that. I like the way that's playing out. It's very interesting.
Todd?
Yeah, you're right. It's not in any way like Jay's time to win that. Like Jay's more. Jay would be more likely to, in my mind anyway, to have a good IC run than he would a world title run. Yep. Like, he's just, and it's too early. Like, you're still going to have, there's a lot more to tell with Damian Priest. There's a lot more turns. There's a lot more, especially this whole thing with the Judgment Day and all of that sort of thing. So it's going to be very interesting going forward what they're going to do with that stuff, with Balor and stuff like that. And like they sort of like mended bridges last on Raw and all of this sort of thing. But who knows what's going to happen in the future for it? We don't actually know who the next challenger is because that hasn't been like even brokered about who it could be, because the whole focus is sort of like king and queen of the ring at the moment, so they're not really talking about challenges for either title like Cody's or Damian Priest. So I guess we'll see coming forward. I did. Well, I didn't know if you know this, but that's Dusty's son. He keeps it very hush. Yeah, he keeps it very hush.
The heel.
He keeps it very hush, but that's Dusty's son.
Dusty Rhodes is his dad.
Yes,
right.
yes. And I know, like, because I know we don't. I know we don't get it in Australia. But if you've been watching or chasing up and watching that WWE's Hidden Treasures,
yeah,
they did an episode where they went after some of Dusty's stuff.
Oh, nice.
And so they found like the first boots that Dusty wore when he won the World Heavyweight title, because they were actually given away on Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So they found the guy that won it, and then they went to him and they bought those boots off him. And then they also went and there's one guy that he has an original like the black and yellow polka dot gear. He's got like the singlet and the tights, and he wouldn't sell it to it, but he loaned it to him. But then for me, for the stuff that I loved is that Cody at home has boxes and boxes of journals that Dusty kept with all the booking. Wow. So all the booking from like the 80s, from the Great American Bash tours, the gates, like how much people got paid, all of that stuff is all in these journals. It's like I'm looking at these journals going, if I could just sit down and read some of those for hours, because I know that when and it sounds stupid, but when I first started booking at Riot City, I'm a bookbinder by trade, and that was my trade in Adelaide. I made myself a journal, and we used to write all of our booking ideas and everything in this book for, like, I think I had 2 years worth in there, and that's somewhere in my cupboard somewhere. And I wouldn't mind, like, going back in a couple of years and just looking about how wrong I was about certain stuff and how certain stuff was right. But it's stuff like that I saw and I saw the booking page and I was like, this is amazing. That's cool stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That series, the Most Wanted Treasures, is fascinating. The first season is on binge, so if you want to check it out, the first season's on binge, and it's really good. The bloke that hosts it is a bit of a nuff, so I don't.
Oh, it's changed now. No, it's changed.
I don't think it's on 2 or 3. I think
no. Booker, Leader, and Mick Foley are the 3 like hunters.
There
now.
you go. As long as Booker doesn't say shucky ducky quack quack.
No, they strictly keep Booker pretty much at the warehouse.
Yeah.
It's Leader and Mick are the ones that go out on the road.
Yeah. And that's a great double as well.
Yeah. So.
But speaking of Dusty Rhodes, so his son is actually the WWE champion at the moment. And
Dustin?
He defended that title.
Wow.
No, the other one.
Oh.
He defended that title against AJ Styles in France.
The one right.
AJ Styles got a huge positive reception from the crowd. I thought this was undeniably a really good match. They're 2 really good wrestlers who knew exactly the match they were going to put on. I could have used 5 minutes shaved off it, but even then, I thought that this was just really good.
You want to go first, Todd?
No, you go, my friend. You go.
I think, without a shadow of a doubt, the other one, Rhodes, Cody, is wrestling the matches of his career right now. He's not. It's quite phenomenal. He has not had a bad match since he returned, and that includes the Rumble. I thought this was something really, really special. Of note, AJ's first opponent when Dusty won a heavyweight title, was AJ, and now Cody's first opponent of winning a heavyweight title is AJ. AJ's tights were a tribute to the tights he wore against Dusty.
Dusty?
Yeah, because he wrestled Dusty, I think it was 2008.
Oh, so what, like TNA or?
TNA, I think it was a TNA title.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there's an interesting bit of trivia. I really, really like this. I thought this was just, there was no doubt that Cody was going to win, but I thought it was really, really special. 2003, thank you, Tim. I didn't mind that. The French adore AJ because he's AJ fucking Styles. Of course, he's going to get some face pops, no matter what. He's an incredible wrestler, and he's a true legend. Like, he is a legend, considering he's been doing this for about 25 years. So I'm fine with him getting pops, and I'm fine with them kind of leaning into a bit more of a tweener match. And I thought it was great. I thought Cody, as a face champion, looked like $1 million, and AJ looked great too. And there were a few moves we don't see that often, like a burning hammer. My God, that was a great burning hammer. You know?
Also, it was like the first, I think somebody said it was the first undisputed title match in 2 years to have no outside interference at all.
Yeah.
So
nice. June,
yeah,
2022 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So that was like Cody's the champion that they needed to follow Roman, because he'll be there every month and he'll put on a really good match every month. So yeah, great match, really good. Like, you're not going to go wrong with those two anyway. Those two could have had a good match in a telephone booth. So,
and his promos are excellent. Like, Cody can talk you into believing everything that's going on. He's always had that ability.
Yes, and the first female to ref a WWE Championship match, a main event for a PLE.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So yeah, that was good. Updated card for King and Queen of the Ring. There's going to be a women's world title match with Becky Lynch defending against Liv Morgan. There's going to be a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title with Sami Zayn defending against both Big Bronson Reed and Chad Gable, as well as the finals for the Queen of the Ring and the King of the Ring tournaments. Jumping onto Liv Morgan for a second, I know that Tim Wilkes said earlier Judgment Day is a mess without Rhea. In the absence of Rhea, we're also seeing hints of Liv Morgan seducing Dominic Mysterio with things like a background of an interview, having Liv Morgan leave a room while someone was getting interviewed, and then a few seconds later, Dominic Mysterio leaving that room after her. And then in photos that have been posted on Instagram recently, Liv posted a photo which, if you look very carefully, in her pocket is a particular purple bandana. So it seems like they are slowly but surely leaning into this Liv is taking Dom from Rhea storyline as well, which I think is very interesting.
Because she left that crumb saying, "I'm going to take everything of yours."
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if she picks up the Women's World title here against Becky Lynch. I don't necessarily think she will or needs to in order for this storyline to go forward. In fact, I think I would prefer if Liv doesn't have the title when Rhea comes back for Retribution, because that gives us 2 Rhea storylines on the return, taking down Liv and then getting back to the top of the mountain with the belt. But it is interesting to note that they have already started building that story. Keanu Reviews in the chat saying, I feel like when Liv won the title before, she just did... I don't know if she's the right person, but I guess Liv will win the title at some stage.
Yeah, I think so. I think she will. I think she will.
Yeah. The only issue I have with this is, like, if she doesn't win the title here, does this hurt the story? Because you think about it, like, she didn't win that battle royal to win the title. They're going to put her into a title match straight away. She's not going to win that. It's like, when do you give her the win?
Here's what I think would be interesting. If she goes out there, they're wrestling the match, Mysterio comes out and causes her to lose. Because I think that leads in an interesting direction, because she still wants to take everything from Rhea, but yet she's lost her opportunity. What do you do? I think Liv is doing really well, showing dimensions to this character instead of just being preppy blonde woman that Vince seemed quite big on. No. She's actually got dimension now, and I'm into it. I'm interested in seeing what she does.
And it feels like we haven't seen heel work from Liv since Riot Squad before this run, right?
And did we see Riot Squad like 2 weeks and then gone?
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't
Totally
really Liv being that character there either. So, yeah, I'm excited to see a good heel run from Liv Morgan. So that's the lineup for King and Queen of the Ring. AEW's also got a show coming up. Updated lineup for Double or Nothing has AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland defending against Christian Cage. The international title is held by Roderick Strong defending against Will Ospreay. The AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm is going to defend against Serena Deeb. The TBS title held by Willow Nightingale is on the line against Mercedes Moné in her big stage debut, and Anarchy in the Arena is going to have the Elite in the form of the Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada and Jack Perry against FTR, Eddie Kingston, and Bryan Danielson. Anarchy in the Arena is normally a lot of fun. That should be good. I think it's going to be weird seeing Okada in that kind of match.
Yeah, he's never really done gimmick matches before, has he?
Not for
I think
a while.
that's why they'll get Danielson in there, because that'll be the wrestling portion, while the rest go off in schmoz.
Yeah, but Danielson also did all the schmoz stuff in the previous Anarchy in the Arenas when he as part of Blackpool Combat Club.
True.
So, yeah, I think that Jack Perry is obviously going to do, I think, exactly zero wrestling. He's going to be all chaos with that new direction his character's going in. But, you know, it should be interesting. As for most of this card, and I know it was mentioned, was it mentioned on the show last week that I feel like Christian Cage, it might not have been. It might have been another podcast I was listening to. Christian Cage challenging for the title feels like something that would just be on Dynamite.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, I mentioned the fact that like Christian Cage, while being a really strong heel, just come off losing literally just come off losing the title in an I Quit match. So, and I know that they're using the whole thing as well. The Young Bucks are working with him, so that's why he got his shot. So it just feels like a mid card feud and not a main event world title feud.
I'm a bit pissy with AEW. Big surprise. Do wins and losses mean anything or not? Are they back to meaning nothing? Because why the fuck should Mercedes Moné have a TBS title shot in the very first match in the company?
Because the rankings don't count for that title. I read that somewhere. Yeah, the rankings count. Rankings count for the women's championship, but not the secondary. No.
So it matters when it matters. But
same thing with TNT. The TNT title. That's why the Cope Open is always happening. Because you don't have to necessarily go from rankings. The rankings only count for the tag team titles, the World Championship, and the Women's World Championship.
The World Championship.
Don't shoot.
Is going for.
I'm not.
Yeah,
But
don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. But that's where I read that somewhere.
So it matters where it matters, but when it doesn't, we can make fucking excuses.
Yes.
Tim Wilkes, what a load! Absolutely, what a load! What a load of shit.
Yes.
Yeah, Tim.
But I'm very excited I had the answer for you there. I was like, oh, I've got that one. I know this one.
Tim Wilkes saying WrestleMania is now in late April. Tim Wilkes' wedding anniversary is Mania Sunday. Much love to your wife while you're not there for your anniversary, Tim. Lovely to hear. WrestleMania also officially announced to be happening in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Lord Vegas.
On the 20th and 21st of April, which are Easter Sunday and Monday. They're going to take the plunge and do it over Easter. So,
Vegas is tempting me to go. Like big trip. But...
Not only that, they got paid well by Vegas, not only just in monetary, but in also like other like ways like tax breaks and all that sort of stuff. So they're making a mint out of that.
How much gambling are people going to do when they travel to Vegas for WrestleMania? Vegas is going to make a mint,
and a lot less chance of it raining.
Yeah, and it's in Allegiant Stadium, which is a great big stadium. So yeah, it's should be an exciting Mania.
And you watch either Raw or SmackDown or something being in the fucking Sphere as well.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. Some releases from WWE. They released a bunch of athletes mainly tied to the Next Gen Hulu series, but more notably Gable Steveson was released. Although thought to be released, Drew Gulak wasn't technically released. He's just not had his contract renewed, which is the same situation that's gone on with Boa, the Chinese signee there as well, which was confirmed by Paul Levesque, who took a shot at some news outlets as he announced that. So there's some attitude going on. It's always interesting to see. Gable Steveson was a matter of time.
Of all of those releases, the one I'm disappointed about is actually Boa. I thought Boa had a huge upside. A few times I saw him, he was great, and it's just a little bit disappointing that,
but he's also been there for, I think it was 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and if you've been there for 4 or 5 years and you haven't quite broken through, or you haven't quite shown, like it's probably time as a business to cut bait. As much as it sounds like a shitty thing to do, and it's the same thing with like Daniel Vidot.
Yeah,
like it was the same thing with him. Like massive amounts of potential, just wasn't showing it.
Yeah, I'm not saying whether it's a good or bad thing. I'm not passing judgment on it, but of all of those releases, that's the one that I think had the most upside, I guess. I think Gulak's day was done. Whether the Ronda Rousey thing is true or not, Gulak's day was done. Like, depending on how much that weighted it, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
And Gable Steveson can go and fuck off.
Absolutely agree. Regardless of the Ronda Rousey thing when it comes to Gulak, more stories coming out about Gulak potentially being a bit of a bully in the ring, targeting people's injuries. An old Cody Rhodes interview came out where he apparently was telling everybody that would listen to him, fuck Drew Gulak. So, that's very interesting to hear that coming out around the same time.
Tim Wilkes says, get Vido back. Vido's not going anywhere. He's married to Harley Cameron. They're like...
Yeah. And
he's more likely to show up in AEW or in ROH than anything else.
I think what probably gets said to these people who are getting released at this point, especially someone like Boa, who has been there for a while, is going to be, hey, look at what happened with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
This is, right now, with the development we've seen in the character you've got, we don't have further things for you, so we could, keep paying you to sit here doing nothing and squander your future, or you have the opportunity right now to go and make yourself undeniable.
I think Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre is a big different story to what these guys are. Like, Drew's very much like the Cody-ish, more of a story. Like, go away. Like, you have something, we know you have something. It's just not working right now. Go away, learn something and come back. Whereas, I don't know if these guys have had it to start with before. Do you know what I mean?
I certainly don't think Gable Stevenson does.
No, not Gable. Not Gable. Yeah.
But the point is, I think when you've got, someone who is in that kind of position, who is in a feud with CM Punk and World Championship contender, who, when he got released by WWE, was doing nothing. He was in 3MB.
Yeah.
Sometimes showing up. And then he went off and completely reinvented himself and made it to the point where WWE were chomping a bit to get it, right?
It didn't hurt that he packed on 30 pounds of muscle.
You've heard it here first, folks. Lachlan thinks WrestleMania 62, headlined by Boa against someone.
Someone from Next Gen.
Yep. Daniel Vido.
Boa versus Daniel Vido. There's our main event.
The main event, WrestleMania 62.
Raw has signed a 3-month extension with NBCU to keep Raw on USA. This is basically to do with WWE signed the Netflix deal. If you look at when the deal with USA was ending, it was kind of 3 months before the Netflix deal started. So there was this period where Raw did not have a broadcaster. There's now been an extension on USA that fills in that gap. $25 million deal for WWE. So
they're basically losing, WWE are basically losing, they're losing 40 mil on the deal, but they're staying on TV. And I'm guessing that they've got that 3 months to advertise at Netflix. They're going to be on Netflix in January.
Yeah.
So
Tim Wilkes says, can I have 25 million for 3 months of work? Unfortunate news, Rey Fenix being injured yet again. He was going to wrestle Penta at House of Glory because they were doing Cinco de Mayo. Unfortunately, Penta came to the ring and announced that Phoenix wasn't medically cleared. As a result, Penta's opponent was the Laredo Kid. Phoenix works a style that results in him getting injured a fair bit, right? That's what this is. Obviously, our best to Phoenix because he is a bloody excellent performer, and it sucks when you can't do your job because you're hurt. It's really disappointing that it feels like because of the injuries, it's been really stop-start for Phoenix because he was on top of the world a few years ago. Obviously, not necessarily in the US, but in Mexico, he was main eventing both Triple R and CMLL, which doesn't happen. So for someone to go from that position to repeated injuries and, being on these shows and not able to have an opponent, it is really sad for him. So hopefully this is the last injury we see for him and he can keep working his incredible style without taking those injuries. Any further thoughts on that?
No, you summed that up perfectly.
Excellent. Well, speaking of injuries, AEW wrestler Julia Hart has undergone surgery for a shoulder injury. She'll probably be out till July, August. We've also got Powerhouse Hobbs out due to a leg injury from last week's Dynamite, but no timeline for his return as of yet. Speaking of people who aren't going to be on AEW TV, Ethan Page had his profile removed from the AEW roster on the website. Fightful later reported he's no longer with AEW or Ring of Honor. They also reported that he expressed a desire to leave as early as February. Unclear what the impetus for the request was, but Ethan Page is no longer with AEW. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I know that he runs a promotion in Canada as well. So I can't remember what the promotion's name is off the top of my head right now. But I think it was a lot of it was like he wouldn't mind focusing on that. Like if he's not getting booked anywhere, he's not really doing much, then let me just focus on my stuff. But like I could see him turn back up in TNA. I mean, yeah, TNA, or maybe even like I know everyone says like an AEW, like a NXT or something like that. But he's a good talker. He's a good worker. He's got all the tools. He just Alpha One. Thank you, Keanu Reviews. Alpha One is the promotion. But yeah, he's a good talker. He's a good worker. Like, he can be used by a TNA. He can be used by a WWE. I don't really encourage that, but because they've got so many fucking people.
I want to jump on something Tim Wilkes says. Danhausen got screwed in GCW. People don't know what a dusty finish is. Danhausen had a dusty finish in GCW. Won the title. The decision got reversed.
Yes, right? Because the new GCW GM is Matt Cardona.
Yep. So it's absolutely right to have the emotional response for Danhausen because that's the storyline. And Danhausen, good face, turns out. There you go.
Who knew? This last one's for you.
Yeah, I know it's for me. I'll simplify it a little bit. This is a journalist friend of Rossi Ogawa came out to talk about the relationship between Ogawa and AEW because AEW contacted Stardom about getting some talent over, 5 individuals they wanted to bring over. They got told 30 grand a piece, so 150 grand for the one night of wrestling, please, for these 3 talents. AEW went, well, you can shove that. We're not paying that. And effectively, they thought Rossi Ogawa was, trying to make them pay a lord's ransom. Turns out, Rossi didn't know anything about this. It was the former president of Bushiroad, which is the company that owns Stardom, not Rossi acting as president of Stardom, who made that request. Sounds like the Bushiroad guys went, AEW's got money, let's ask them for a big pile of money to have these performers. And Rossi had nothing to do with it. And it also sounds like that kind of interference from Bushiroad as ownership is the thing that caused Rossi Ogawa to want to leave, kind of got fed up with executive meddling and got out. So that's the story we're now hearing around that. And so hopefully with Marigold starting up, we can see what it's like when just Rossi runs the promotion. So we'll see how that goes. But, that's obviously shit to hear that you've got managerial oversight ruining relationships with other companies. It's bad for wrestling. And it's shit to hear that, Rossi had to leave Stardom to get what he wants to promote out there. So while we're talking about shit, let's talk about our chicken shit for the week. What did we hate in wrestling this past week? Todd, why don't you fire off first, mate?
Okay, I got like 2, and like one is like I keep seeing it on X all the time. Is it somebody keeps putting up every week? Is like the percentage of wrestling that is on the TV shows. Like I think it's like 36% on like of Raw was actual wrestling, and blah 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 blah. It's like people don't realize that wrestling, although wrestling is the name of the show, it's not the whole show. It's not a massive percentage of the show. And a lot of the times, you're setting stuff up so people can actually have matches. So, I guess I just want these fans to stop fucking, like, watching their stopwatch and just watch the show. Because you end up being in a position where, like, AEW are, where they just constantly put on dream matches, which is awesome. We get to watch all these dream matches all the time. But after a while, nothing means anything because they're all the same all the time. Whereas by the time, I think, we see Drew McIntyre and CM Punk actually touch, we're going to want to see that match because they've been going back and forward and back and forward. There's a lot to be said. Like, pro wrestling is very much about wrestling. It's, of course, the name of the thing is pro wrestling. Is not always about what's happening in between those ropes. It's about what happens to get those people the motivation to be in those ropes with each other. So that's my first one. My second one is, it's basically the thing that got named today, the whole anarchy in the arena. Has this thing already progressed to the point where this is the only way they can sort out their issues? Like 5 weeks in, and with guys that have really nothing to do with the Elite feud. Like the only people that have anything really to do with the Elite feud are Tony Khan and Kenny Omega, and neither of those guys can wrestle at the moment. So why wouldn't you just keep putting the heat on with the Elite? Why would you blow it up straight away to this anarchy in the arena match where there's like so much bullshit that by the time Kenny comes back, we've already seen people do 1,000 different things with golf carts and downstairs and getting thrown into pools. And I just think that, yet again, they just blow their load way too early with this sort of thing. They don't leave time for it to build the heat. But I guess that's, yeah. That was my chicken shits for this episode.
So we're hearing that Todd has a problem with blowing loads way too early. Jeff, do you have a chicken shit for the week?
Why you got to go there?
I do. Look,
you've been out of pocket all fucking episode. You've been out of pocket all fucking episode, pal. Fresh off fucking suspension. And
don't tell him I was suspended.
Right. There are a couple of things. My suspension's only 1 week. You'll be gone for 6 months. There are a couple of things. Firstly, this is a spoiler to anyone who hasn't yet watched Dynamite today, but Taz was not on that episode. And boy, howdy, was he fucking missing. My God, was he missing. Commentary was absolutely deplorable. Actually, I've got 3. Secondly, turn Tony Storm face already. Karina Deeb is not good as a face, and they've just gone, oh, well, we'll kind of still make Tony a heel. Tony's getting the loudest pops out of everybody on the show.
Not only that, like Mariah May is a face, who worked a heel on that show as well. And another thing too, thank you for reminding me about Dynamite today. What the fuck is Don Callis doing with Orange Cassidy?
It was shit.
What has he got to do with this fucking story? The story is Trent and Orange. Fuck off, Don.
Yeah. It was not a good episode. I really felt that. The Chris Jericho thing is just bullshit. It's just so bad.
Catchphrase alert.
Yeah.
I know they're intentionally trolling now. And the other thing, and I honestly, I wasn't, look, I should talk about it, but the boys know about this. Where's half the roster for AEW? They're on 1 week. The next week, they're fucking gone. We need some consistency. Moxley now. Where's Moxley? Who knows?
It's in New Japan.
Yeah, he is in New Japan.
When Moxley's not on screen, all the other wrestlers should be asking,
where's Moxley? What's Moxley thinking?
You know what I mean? 12 months, Lachlan. It's just that we are missing. What was his name? Daniel Garcia's gone. Matt Menard just got over, just over like Rover, really hot. So let's take him off TV for 3 months. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes fucking sense.
Yeah, the whole thing was he's where's Ricky Starks? He's not injured.
Yeah, where's Ricky Starks?
Because he said on Twitter, "I'm not injured."
Yep.
Where's Danhausen? So good. He brought Danhausen in to sell merch and then fucked him off.
Danhausen's over main eventing GCW.
He's hanging out with the guy that fucking twirled the pizza.
Yeah.
Remember when they signed him for a couple of days or a couple of weeks?
Yeah, the most over person AEW wrestler is CM Punk. And he doesn't even wrestle in the company anymore. You know? He's the only person anyone tuned in to watch. Fuck off, Tony. Get your hand off it. Let stories unfold naturally. I mean, as much as I'm saying Callis is a pain in the ass in the Orange Cassidy and Trent story, at least it's something that it's a story.
I honestly like the Trent and Orange Cassidy story. I want to see that develop more. He's got no reason to be a part of that. It's not like, because especially like, if he had a reason to be a part of it, it would have been to be on Trent's side. It would have been the one that was pissing in Trent's ear for the past like couple of weeks, going, "Those boys like don't deserve you. You're the one that's been holding this crew together." But that's the natural place of where Don Callis should have been.
I kind of agree with you. Tim Wilkes is saying Danhausen needs to go and see Uncle Paul. No, he doesn't.
No,
he absolutely doesn't.
No,
he'll be no. Just
not everyone should go to WWE. Not everyone should go to AEW.
No.
It's as simple as that. Not everyone should go there.
Danhausen and R-Truth 5 minutes every week on Raw, says Tim Wilkes. No, that would be absolutely appalling. It'd be the worst. I can't see that any way being good.
No. Danhausen is great. Danhausen would probably be really good on TNA.
Yep.
He was really good in Ring of Honor, when Ring of Honor was Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I'll tell you where I bloody love Danhausen is on YouTube. He's so good reviewing action figures and comic books. Like, I really enjoy watching Danhausen wrestle, but the wrestling is a bonus to him as a character that exists in the world of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. But his work in ROH before ROH got gutted,
fantastic,
was great.
So funny.
With, I can't remember what his name was too, but it was with the other guy.
Aside from your favourite heel retaining his title in Lyon, France,
my chicken shit is going to be, look, I've spoken about really enjoying when WWE goes international with their premium live events. There's one exception to that, and it's the fact that they are going back to Saudi Arabia again.
Mm-hmm.
I know they get paid a lot of money.
50 mil.
But every time it happens, it's one less instance of us noticing, hey, they are just feeding the fucking Saudi Arabia machine of propaganda, right? And Tim Wilkes has said it's a 10-year deal, so I know that there's going to be 10 years of this shit, of them going over and acting like, oh, look at this beautiful country. No journalists get murdered here. No, sir. We didn't have a plane load of wrestlers caught on the tarmac because of, disputes over money. No, not a problem.
The thoughts of Lachlan Albert are Lachlan Albert alone. We do not wish to be attacked by anyone. Thank you very much.
Let me be clear. I love the Prince of Saudi Arabia. He is a very kind and beautiful man.
Cool story, bro.
Fuck this. Fuck.
Here's the thing.
It's the 11th time they've done it, and it's still bad.
Here's the road. They're going to keep doing it. I switch off to the ads for the Saudi Arabia government. Like next year at WrestleMania, there's going to be ads for Las Vegas. I will switch off. I switch off. I watched Elimination Chamber back, and I switched off about the ads to Perth. I switch off to all the propaganda bullshit. You can either buy into it or switch off. It's your own choice.
Yeah, and look, I know that...
Mate, enjoy WrestleMania there in about 2 years, so...
I'm not going to be convinced that Saudi Arabia is a great place, but that's not the point. The point is that this is still a company where, as much as we would like to say, yay, bad man gone, company good now, like, it's still a company that's got a 10-year deal to promote a country where they kill journalists and act like it's a delightful tourist destination. That's just where I'm at with it.
Okay, so are you the same? Are you the same with Formula One? Are you the same with Live Golf? Are you the same with all these other places that are getting funded by the Saudis? Because it's the same thing with everyone.
Yes, and I've heard of Formula One. I have not heard of Live Golf.
Live Golf is owned by Saudis.
Right, I don't know what it is. And if I was a fan of golf, I would probably be complaining about it. If I was a fan of Formula One, I'd be complaining about it. I'm a fan of wrestling, so I'm complaining about when they do it.
Lachlan, do you like Walt Disney movies? Do you like Disney movies?
Uh-oh.
Yes, a lot, unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
You know that Walt Disney is a rampaging Semite, anti-Semite. Like, he hates
Well, not
it.
not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
He's pretty cold now.
He's pretty. His opinions are on ice. So
unlike his head, it's a rumor. But yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's really important to contextualize what's going on. And when it comes to old Disney content, there's a lot of dark shit. And it's
How much do
important
you
to contextualize that.
How much do you dig Harry Potter?
Not at all since things have happened. I've actively avoided spending a single dollar on Harry Potter merchandise in the past few years.
Hello and welcome to a new podcast. Lachlan's credibility.
No, just yeah.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I haven't played Hogwarts Legacy. I'm sure I would love the game. I love the universe. I would like to play that video game. I'm not playing it because as long as it's putting money into the pocket of a person who is using their money to hurt people, I don't want to promote it. And it's becoming really hard to continue enjoying WWE when they are putting so much force behind promoting a place that hurts people.
So, Lachlan, if Trump wins, are you still looking at going to
to Vegas,
Las Vegas next year?
Probably not.
Okay.
He won't have to.
Like
there'll be a civil war.
Yeah, there'll be a civil war. Anyway.
Like,
no matter who wins.
Genuinely, like that's where I'm at, right? Is that going to be a safe place that I'm able to, feel safe spending my money and being? And if the answer is no, I won't go. Right?
All right, let's go to chicken salad.
Let's get more positive. Can I do my chicken salad to turn it around?
Yeah. His chicken salad's like, I can't wait to see this King of the Ring tournament, though.
Yeah, the King of the Ring tournament. Okay, I just realized. All right. The first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Ilya Dragunov versus Ricochet. Slap.
Oh, shit.
That match was so good.
You can't fucking buy it.
Amazing.
I didn't even realize.
Amazing.
That match was so good.
Oh, I feel so much better about myself right now.
Hang on. Do you want some popcorn, Todd?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine, brother.
Yeah.
Woo!
It was really good. Todd, what's your chicken salad? It can't be that.
Look, I just think the way the Saudis are investing in WWE is I couldn't help. Thank you very much. No, look, honestly, it's my chicken salad is seeing two people that I really do enjoy. I really do. I value as people, and that's Gino and Rosie being back doing something that they love doing and being really good at it. It's really great to see. And also just the fact that, and I know, look, as much as some people don't want to admit it, as goes WWE, goes the world. So if the WWE is hot, then independent wrestling is hot. And it's amazing to see so much interest in the Australian product, so much interest in like just tickets selling their ass off. Like, for instance, like MC Dub, sold out now, and it's not till next month.
Yeah.
Like it's June is when this show's going to be. And just you see it everywhere. Like everywhere with a decent promotion are selling tickets well, and it's really good to see. It's good to see the boom period happening again in professional wrestling and therefore Australian wrestling. I love that shit.
Yep, Jeff?
Mine is actually Monday Night Raw this week was absolutely fantastic. It didn't let up. It had great, consistent stories through all. The Liv Morgan thing is interesting. The King of the Ring qualifiers, that main event, Sheamus versus Gunther, my chest hurt. My chest hurt watching it. They just beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. and it was great to see. I thought Monday Night Raw this week was one of the finest they've done, well, probably in about 6 years, well, even longer.
Do you know what I like watching now on Raw? I like watching for when they're going to do that big one-take shot that they do.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder how they're going to do this one this week. And like this week's was Drew driving off and Punk coming in straight afterwards.
Beautiful.
Loved it. I love the way that they're doing that sort of stuff.
Beautiful. Punk's promo was fun. Look, I thought this was just a terrific Monday Night Raw. And yeah, Dragunov and Ricochet was fantastic. To have Jey Uso come in as the substitute for McIntyre and still face Finn and beat him, that threw me because I thought, well, Finn's going to get through this. I was kind of working in my day job and just kind of had it on the background and turned around every now and then to watch bits of the match. But then Jey beat him, hey? What? I didn't see that. So, I think it's magic. I think they're doing great work. And week to week, Raw is getting better. And SmackDown's just a beautiful hour and 20 minutes.
Can I actually do another one? Because I remembered one as you were talking.
No.
Is it Saudi Arabia involved?
Yeah,
because we just don't need that propaganda anymore, mate. All right.
How wild is it that Aja Kong is still putting on amazing matches?
Oh gosh,
Aja Kong has been doing work in TJPW recently that is like career notable. It's insane. She's in her 50s. How's she still having great matches? There was one, I cannot for the life of me remember who it was against, but it was just recently. Had a match for TJPW, a singles match that was bloody brilliant. And you don't expect to see someone who has been doing it for that long, at that intensity, still going at that level. And that's so wonderful. And speaking of going for a long time at such a high level, did you know that it's been over 10 years Wrestle Radio Australia has been around? And if you wanted to get a shirt to support Wrestle Radio Australia, wear that branding across your chest, you can go on over to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia, and you can know that the proceeds to that aren't going to support some, huge dictatorship state overseas. They're actually going to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life, which are two charities here in Australia that support men's mental health. So that's a really important cause.
Please don't.
Go to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life. So head to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia to get that merch there. And while you're supporting Wrestle Radio Australia, you can follow us here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. You can follow us at Wrestle Radio Australia on Facebook. You can head to X/Twitter. You can also head to Instagram and go to @WrestleRadioAU to follow us there. You can follow us all individually. Todd is at Beast Eastman. I am at Lachlan Albert. Jeff is at Jeff_Seti. You can also follow at Wrestle_Brainia to keep your eyes on what's going on with WrestleBrainia and jump on tickets when they're coming to your area. And, we obviously love what WrestleBrainia is doing. And if you love what we're doing here at Wrestle Radio Australia, you can give us 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts because that really helps us get into more ears. It's really important, unfortunately. So I keep pushing that as much as I can because if you could give us a 5-star review there, it'd go a long way. Anything else that we've got to mention, lads?
No, I'm done for a while. Till Pro League, I think. Or I don't know if we're before that or not. I can't remember now.
And yeah, the Brainia machine will have some news in it.
Excellent. Well, in that case, on behalf of Mr. Jeff Seti and Mr. Todd Eastman, I've been Lachlan Albert. Till next time, have a good one.
Alaikum salam, brothers.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is